So you've been watching some Amazon FBA content online and you're not sure whether it's too late or how to start the business in 2023. I've got you 7 actionable steps that you can take to turn this idea into a reality in 2023 and turn it into a serious source of income. Now, the 7th step is the most important. So stay tuned, guys, and follow along for how you can turn this into a profitable business going forward. So the first step I'm going to say, and it's something that I don't think a lot of people cover for some reason, is you need to register as a limited company on the government website. So for Amazon FBA, we're going to need it for accounting purposes and when you start signing up for your business accounts, when you go for wholesalers, less so if you're doing online arbitrage or retail arbitrage, but you want to be set up for your accountancy and your bookkeeping. So go to the government website, I think it's about £11. You can either set up as a sole trader or you can set up as a limited company. I set up as a limited company. It's just slightly easier, I think, with the accounting later on. And for £11 you become a company director, so who can really complain with that? It's definitely the first step you need to take, and one that a lot of sellers miss out. So get that going, £11, very cheap, very quick. So on to the second step now. The thing you need to do if you want to create this into an actual business in 2023 is set up a Seller Central account and the professional one. A lot of people don't want to set up the professional one because it's slightly more in the monthly fee. However, with the amount of stock we're going to be selling, it works out cheaper than if you pay a small fee for each item you ship. I think it works out that if you sell more than 40 items, it makes more sense to get the professional account. And trust me, we're going to be aiming to sell far more than 40 items a month. If we want to take Amazon FBA seriously, we need to be looking at about 200 to 300 items minimum a month. So as you can imagine, it makes sense to get that professional account. If you want to wait a little while and get the professional account after you've sold 30 or 40 items and upgrade then, that's absolutely fine. However, if you're serious about the business and you're serious about making this a real sort of juggernaut, I'd get started as early as possible and sign up for a professional account. So that's the second step. Third step is setting up your software. For Amazon FBA, we want to be as clued in as possible to the products we're buying. We want to make as few mistakes as possible, and how we do this is by using software that we can get a bit more analysis in of the products we're buying. However, as anybody who is in Amazon FBA knows, the software can rack up really quickly. I think at the moment I've got a few different softwares that I'm trialling out, and it's coming to around £250 a month in fees. And obviously, when you're starting out, we don't want that. Just as a little, heads up of what sort of that software is, you're looking at sort of price history software, supply and demand software, stock taking software. You can have store scanning software. You can have leads lists. We'll go into in another video. That's a whole different point. You can have accounting software, and you can have accountants' fees as well. All of these, if you think they're £30 each, that racks up to about £210 very quickly. So I'd say if we're starting off, let's keep it basic. Let's scrap those. We don't need them. We can just get 2 bits of software. Dead cheap, probably the cheapest bits of software you can get for Amazon FBA actually, and it's really going to boost. It's all you need to start off with really. So those 2 bits of software. The first one is going to be a price history software. So what this is, it's going to be Keeper. Every seller has this, and it's an absolute must for Amazon FBA. So what this software does is it tells you what the price history has been in the past. It gives you a little graph, and it tells you then what you can extrapolate and see as the price history in the future. This means if we're buying something and expecting it to be £20, when we actually ship it in and get it sold, it's still going to be £20. Some products what you might see is they're £20 now, but in 2 weeks' time they're actually £15. And then all of a sudden what was £5 profit becomes breaking even, or even worse, you're at a loss. So it's really key to have your technical analysis on point, and Keeper is a must for this. So definitely get Keeper. The second bit is going to be a supply and demand software. So what this is going to do is it's going to tell us how much a product is selling a month, and then how many competitors there are as well. So why this is important, let me give you an example. Say a product is selling 100 times a month, and you go, oh brilliant, I'll buy 100 of that product and I'll get every one of that sale that month. Well, that's really good, and then you've bought a month's supply, but if there's 10 sellers on that listing, that means that you're only going to really be selling 10 of those products out of the 100, because you've got other competition for the sales. And that means those 100 products you've bought, instead of being 1 month's supply, is 10 months supply. And then you've got a load of dead stock that's not selling, and you're not turning over your money quick enough. So this is why supply and demand software is so important. So what options do we have? So we've got, just to name a few, you've got Profitable, Buy.Pro and Seller Amp. Those are the 3 big ones I'd say. So those 2 bits of software, £20 each, so £40 in total. They can be really good and can get you quite a lot, to be honest. I'd say you could get to a couple of grand in profit a month just using those 2. So if you really nail them down, they can get your business pretty far. So on to the 4th step. So step 4 is going to be what strategy and what tactics we're trying to use to find products to then we can buy and ship them off to Amazon. So there are 2 tactics I would use for beginners. Let's keep it simple. The first one is going to be going through sales and discount websites. So this is, a lot of websites will run sales on certain dates throughout the year. So you've got Boxing Day, you've got New Year sometimes go sales, you've got Black Friday, Cyber Monday, sometimes you get end of week sales on Saturdays and Sundays, and you look at the bigger websites, so you're looking at Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Aldi, Smith's Toys, all websites that you'll know of, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through the sales or the clearance sections, and we're just going to look for good deals where stuff's high markdowns, so maybe like 50, 60% markdowns, and hopefully then it's marked down enough that it's profitable to sell on Amazon. Normally what we look for is half price. So if something sells at £20 on Amazon, we're looking to buy it at 10 in the clearance. So that's the first one. It's looking through all the clearance sections and then trying to find what would be profitable to sell on Amazon. And that's called sort of just going through clearance, going for sales. So the second sort of strategy I would use would be going the other way. So what we did before was we looked for all the products and then we saw if they sold on Amazon profitably. You can go the other way though. So you can go that what's profitable on Amazon and what's been sold by a lot of people, and then look for that. See if there's discounted in stores or there's a 3 for 2 deal in a certain store. So this is called reverse sourcing. So what we're doing is we're going on, say, a product like Lego, and we're going, okay, there's 40 sellers on this Lego listing. Let's see if we can find it ourselves. So we're going backwards. We're trying to trace people's steps on where they're buying, where their leads are, and that's the second step. So it's either finding the product, seeing if it's profitable, or finding what's profitable on Amazon, and then seeing if we can find the product. So those are the two tips I would use. It's what a lot of sellers use, even the people who are very high up. These are the strategies they use. So don't feel like these are the low-hanging fruit that aren't going to make you a lot of money. If you do these efficiently and effectively, these could make you upwards of a few grand a month profit as a part-time job. So definitely lock in. I'll do a few videos on these as well, just to give you guys the basics of how to get them down and how to nail them. So that'd be that step. Let's get on to the next one. So on to step 5. This one's actually the biggest one. It's one that plagued me the most. It's don't get analysis paralysis. So what this term means is when you start overthinking purchases to the point where you don't buy anything. So you always think the grass is going to be greener with the other purchase. You think you might learn more in a YouTube video, or you think there's going to be a product that's more profitable or has a higher ROI. So you end up spending nothing. And in this business, I liken it to an analogy of poker. So let me run you through this and see if this helps. Is that to be proficient at poker, you have to go in on a lot of hands, and then you slowly work out from that which hands are good and which hands you go in on again. And you slowly refine down what hands are bad and what you don't go in on again. And then slowly you just become better and better at picking good hands and winning more pots. So it's the same with Amazon. So you want to pick lots of products at the start that you think will be profitable. And if they're not profitable, look at why that happened. What was your mistake? What didn't you check into? Was the competition too high? Was it seasonal? Was the lead really easy to find and so loads of people went up and it got saturated? Everything that goes wrong in Amazon, you can trace back to a mistake that you made 9 out of 10 times. Sometimes it's out of your hand, but 9 out of 10 times you can trace it back. And if you get what the mistake was and correct it, it won't happen again. And so you're slowly refining your search tools so that you're more efficient, more accurate, and all of a sudden the products you're bringing in are going to be better ones. And it's the same the other way around. If you get a product that's really profitable and works really well, then look into it. Why was that profitable? And when you can work that out, then you know that you're going to maximise the amount of products that you're putting out there, which are going to be profitable. You can have better gains, and your business is going to just scale up rapidly. I think as an Amazon seller, you're measured by the amount of losses you have, because every loss should be a learning lesson. If you think of a graph of improvement, it's not linear. Your improvement as an Amazon seller does not go up like this. It's actually up with a little bump where there's an error, and then you go up again and a bump where there's an error, and it's kind of it's a jagged up and down of learning from your losses and getting better and better. I think if you're not willing to lose money in Amazon, you shouldn't be in the business, because it's just part and part of the deal is that it's going to happen. You're going to buy some duff products, but you just need to learn from them. So it's don't get analysis paralysis. Try and buy as much stock as you can, which you think is going to be good, and if it's not good, learn from it, and then make better decisions in the future. You just gotta buy it. I know when I started Amazon, I think for 2 months I had the software and didn't buy anything because I always thought it was going to be a better product, and it's just I gained nothing in those 2 months. I gained a little bit more knowledge, but I gained nothing practical because I had nothing to back it up with. I didn't have so I've gained more knowledge, and I can see this through the profit I'm getting. It's just I had more knowledge, but I wasn't acting on it. Make sure you're acting on it, and make sure you're actually gaining sales. You know, learning through experience is so much better than just, learning for the sake of it. So, on to step 6. So, step 6 is buying a course or buying a mentorship. Now, I know a lot of you out there probably haven't got too much money to invest at the start of your Amazon business. You're probably looking at about £1,000, maybe less, maybe more, maybe £2,000, maybe £1,500, something around that at least. So, a lot of people don't want to pay for expensive courses or pay for mentorship, but what I just said in that passive about you've got to make mistakes and then learn from them, this is what you're buying. You're buying the person who has already made the mistakes and teaching the lessons of how not to do them. So you're saving yourself time and saving yourself loss of money in the future. It's like, I liken it again to an analogy of boxing. If you were going to have a white collar boxing event, and you had to box in, say, 6 months, would you hire a boxing coach or would you learn to box yourself? you'd probably hire the boxing coach, right? And there's two reasons for that. The first one is that you're going to make less mistakes with a boxing coach. And the second one is to learn from their experience, right? Is to become the best boxer possible. And it's the same with Amazon. With a mentorship, they're going to teach you how to make less mistakes, but also show you how to be the best seller possible and what that sort of journey and trajectory is. So even though it might be expensive to start with, it really does help push you forward. I've paid for 2 mentorships and courses, and I can safely say that it really helped sort of push me in the right direction. If not, I don't know what would have happened instead. So I think despite what a lot of people give advice, I think buying a mentorship, buying a course can be a real cheat and a bit of a hack to really propelling your growth and getting exponential, returns on your time invested. So it's definitely a tip I think is underrated and something that you should look into. And so, on to the final tip that I said was going to be the most important, and it's not going to be a surprise to many of you, it's to stay consistent. Now, a lot of Amazon sellers that I know will bash it out for a week and they'll spend lots of money on stock and then they'll forget about it for 3 weeks. And they'll come back in 3 weeks' time and go, oh yeah, I need to buy some stock. And they'll spend loads of time getting invested and really getting involved in Amazon, and they'll go off the boiler for 3 weeks. And this is not how you want to treat your Amazon business. You want to give it the care, consistency and effort that it deserves. Like, if you want this to become a full-time job or a big side hustle for you, you need to put the effort in to show that. I like to use the analogy again of a plant. Would you water the plant every 2 weeks and drown the thing, or do you water it every week a little bit? It's likely going to be the latter, that you're watering it every week. And it's the same with Amazon. You need to be consistently investing, you need to be consistently looking at deals, and you need to be consistently reviewing things in your Amazon business. It moves very quickly. There's complaints that could come up, there's IP issues that could come up. If you're looking at every 3 weeks, these things are going to really impact your account health, and that's really going to impact how much Amazon pushes your brand. So you need to be consistent with it, and you need to stay on top of it. So those are all the tips. However, I'm sure some of you are asking as well, what happens if I can't find any leads? Well, follow the next video, because that's going to show you exactly what you can do if you can't find any leads. Leads lists, the good, the bad and the ugly. Let's get into this. Let's see what they're all about and whether they can benefit your business in 2023.